Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the third episode of the Foundations of Excellence in Mathematics, aka FEM, where we solve real world problems, apply them to the real world, and learn to learn, not to memorize. As always, here's your FEM CEO, host, SAT Bootcamp Tutor, Upchief Schoolhouse.World Tutor, Landon Pitts. Hello everyone! Welcome to today's episode of the Foundations of Excellence in Mathematics. So we're going to go ahead and get started immediately. So let me go ahead and write what we're learning today on the board. Alright, here are the objectives for today's lesson. First, we're going to turn word problems into math. So this section is actually going to be the last one for Unit 1 of Algebra 1. That lesson I said about 8 to 9, I was completely wrong. So yes, today's objective, we're going to be doing application problems using linear equations. We're going to turn word problems into math, solve the linear equation that we decoded from English, and apply it to the real world. So let's go ahead and get started with this lesson. So folks, how are we going to get this equation to work? How are we going to translate the real world? And how are we going to decode the math? Well, this is the Foundation of Mathematics, where we power math and make it valuable. So, here we go for FEMCore version 2.
Let's go! It's a new day in the new year of 2026. The FEM is going to be the reason the math this semester will click. Homework, test assignments, and the final examination. But now FEM is back, and it's laying the foundation of excellence in mathematics. That's a code name. That's the name that was built for as well-deserved fame. Talking from the high school ground zero, continuing with Algebra 1. And then it's up to AP Calculus when FEM will be done. The challenge will be scary, but we'll prove the teachers false. And FEM will sort through it like we're dancing the good old waltz. So let's take on the challenge together and end the students' suffering. We may even be the reason that students are recovering. FEMCore. 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 FEMCore.
Okay, so here's the first problem that we're going to be doing, and I did change to blue since my black marker unfortunately is kind of running out, but that's okay because I can always get some new ones. But anyway, here we go. A moving company charges $800 plus $16 per hour. Another company charges $720 plus $21 per hour. How long is a job that costs the same no matter which company is used? So, don't worry if you can't get this because obviously it's just a preliminary thing, but if you want to go ahead and try this question out for yourself, you are welcome to. So I'll go ahead and move out of the way, and you can go ahead and solve. Good luck, try your best. Alright, so here's the tips you need to know for this problem. First things first, we want to look at two concepts. We want to know, oh, okay, so this is not like the actual definition, but I'm going to call it a still value, which is the value that doesn't change. So that means that no matter like how many hours happen in the problem, that value will just be there. And then the other thing we're going to know, we're going to have a moving value, which, again, this may be different. It's just I just can't name it off the top of my head, but it's the value that changes depending on the factors. So here, the still value right here, the value does not change no matter how many hours, would be $800 because $800, it's just there. So I'm gonna put 800 down here, and then the moving value that changes depending on the factors. Well, what factors do we have for this other one, 16? Well, if there are like a certain amount of hours, then 16 will change depending on how much time is used. So I'm gonna put plus 16x, and x is the number of hours. So that's that first equation right there. So we just decoded this first sentence into math. And now we do the same thing. So the still value for 720 and 21, which one is the still value and which one is the moving value? Right, 720 is the still value and $21 is the moving value. So there we go. Now all we have to do is solve the equation based on what we learned from the last episode. So let's do it. We're going to go ahead and subtract 720 from both sides to get rid of 720 over here. This cancels, and we're left with 800 minus 720. If we subtract that, we get 80. So 80 plus 16x equals 21x. And then we have to get the x's together. So we'll subtract 16x from this side, and we'll be left with 5x equals 80. We divide 5 on both sides, and we get x equals 16. So that means for our answer, we put 16 hours for it to cost the same. There we go. Now apply that to the real world. If you were to have 2 people and there's only 1 slot left for each company, but it was different, you would have to tell them, hey, 16 hours, do 16 hours for this moving company. And if you were off, then one person would have a more expensive one and one would have a more cheaper one, and the person who got more expensive would probably be angrier at you. But good thing we solved that and got it right. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again, and I'm going to give you a problem for you to try yourself. Alright, so I have a problem up on the board, and keep in mind, this is the only thing we're learning today. And then next episode will be the Unit 1 review of Algebra 1. So all we're doing is just decoding this and transforming it to math. So, go ahead and try this problem. Kate is saved to take an ACT prep course that costs $350. Sheesh, how expensive. So far, she has saved $180, and she adds $17 to her savings each week. Let X be the amount of weeks for $17. How many more weeks does Kate need to save money to afford the course? Now here are the penalties. If you get an answer for X that is above the answer, then Kate will waste time for preparation. But if it's less than A, she won't afford the ACT prep course. Now remember these definitions, still values and moving values. So go ahead and pause the video right now, and we'll solve it together once you got it. Good luck. Okay, so let's see here. So $350, that is a loan. So this is a still value. It's going to be put right here. She has saved $180. That's true. It'll stay the same no matter what. And it says $17 each week. So a key note here is time. Time plays a really big factor in these types of problems. So if you find keyword each week or per week, that's a sign that that is a moving value and not a still value. So now let's do the rest. 350 minus 180. That's going to equal 170 equals 17x. Divide 17 on both sides. And x is equal to 10. So that means that Kate needs 10 more weeks to afford the ACT course. I wonder what she does for $17 a week. In this economy, you would usually get like $15 an hour. So you'd probably be able to get the ACT course in like a week or two nowadays. But oh well, if you got 10, great job. And if you didn't, you can go ahead and review these definitions, review the facts, and you can go back to the previous problem if you'd like. Alright, so now we're going to take a little quiz on 2 problems, but these problems are kind of long, so I'm just going to give points based on how well you do the parts. So each part is going to be worth 1 point. So A is worth 1 point, B is worth 1 point, 3 is worth 1 point, C is worth 1 point. Parts A and B from problem 1, those are worth 2 points, 1 point each, and this is worth 1 point. So this will be a total of 6 points. So go ahead and solve the problem. So here's the first one. A music plan has 2 options. Option A, a $10 fee for $2 a week, or option B, a $5 fee for $4 a week. So your first step is to decode the problem to math. So what would that be in math terms? B, solve for X when you decode it to math. And then C, if I purchase each option for 3 weeks, what option will charge me more? And then for number 2, 2 professional car racers are racing. The first racer is going 30 miles an hour with no mile head start. The second racer is going 15 miles an hour with a 40 mile per hour not mile per hour, 40 mile head start. Let X equal the number of hours. Do part A and B from problem 1, so decode the problem, solve for X. And then for C, who will gain more distance if the race is 5 hours long? Will it be racer 1 or racer 2? So go ahead, pause the video, and then when we continue, I'll give the answers on the board. All right, I'm revealing the answers in 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. Go ahead and see what you got for your answers. I'll go ahead and explain. All right, for the first one, $10 fee, $2 a week, 10 plus 2x. 2 is the moving value, and 10 is the still value. $5 fee, $4, same thing. Those are going to be equal to each other. Solve for X, it should be 2.5. 2 and 1/2 will also work. 5 over 2 will also work. And then if you plug in 3, it says each option for 3 weeks. That means that since X is weeks, X will equal to 3. So 10 plus 2 times 3 is $16. And 5 plus 4 times 3 is $17. So in this case, the answer here would be $17 for option B. So that means that if you're going to have this subscription for 3 weeks, I would advise you to save $1 for option A. Alright, and then for 2, we have 30 miles an hour and 15 miles an hour. That means depending on the amount of hours, those are moving values. So it will be 30x equals 15x plus 40. 40 is the still value because 40 mile per hour at 40 mile head start. That's just there. So for x, subtract 15x on both sides, divide, you get 2.6 repeating hours. If I were you, if I were putting this on the test, I would put 2/2 as a mixed fraction. And if your teacher wants an improper fraction, then put 8 over 3. 8 over 3 hours. So then, if you plug in 5, since 5 hours long, same thing for number here. We have 30 times 5 is 150 miles, and 15 times 5 plus 40 is 115 miles. So, whoever will gain more distance will be... whoever will gain more... Oh, wait, I put this wrong. It should be racer 1, not 2. So, if you put racer 2, you're wrong. Sorry, that was my fault. Yeah, racer 1 will go more, since... 5 hours would mean 150 miles in total. So, we got 6 out of 6. You're a rock star. Great job. You clearly understand this lesson. That was not a middle finger, by the way. It was supposed to be this. Like, I just was on my thing. Okay, 5 out of 6. Excellent. 4 out of 6. Pretty good. You know the material pretty well. 3 out of 6. You're doing good. Just keep working on your skills, and you can go back if you need to. And then 2 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 0 out of 6. Please go back to the start of the video and review your skills there. So, and since this is taking a bit since I don't want to write another problem, we're going to go ahead and actually just apply this to the real world. So imagine that for this one, you need to save money for college. So right here, if you picked option B for your plan for 3 weeks, or possibly even more if you decide to do it for more time, you would be losing money every single time. So if this was for 4 weeks, 10 plus 2 times 4 would be 18. So option A is 18 for 4 weeks, 20 for 5 weeks, 22 for 6 weeks, etc. But for this one, you would add 4 each time, which means every single time, every single week, you lose about $3, which can be a little hectic and a little bad for your savings. And then right here, so imagining that you can approximate the miles per hour somehow, and if you were doing like the Kentucky Derby or something, you bet on a horse, and if the horse had a head start but was pretty slow, and you bet on that horse to go a huge amount of distance, the other horse would eventually catch up, and you would be losing money there too. So yeah, I don't promote gambling anyway, but hey, real world scenario. So there we go. That's gonna be it for this video. Pretty short and sweet. In the next episode, we're gonna be reviewing all of Unit 1, and then I will be giving you 10 or 20. It'll be one of those numbers. Definitely 10 at least, but if I'm feeling like it, I'll give you more. So anyway, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me in the comments. I will make sure to turn them on, since the last episode I actually forgot to turn them on. That's my fault. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this FEM episode. And remember, we're not here to memorize. We're here to learn. We're here to apply to the real world. We're here to show that math can be fun and also useful. So, go ahead and erase all this real quick. And we're done learning, so if you want to close off right now, you can go ahead and do whatever else is fun, like doing some more math or practicing the skills in the previous episodes, and potentially preparing for the Unit 1 test. Now, here's how that one will work, because Season 1 of FEM did start with Unit 1, Section 1. So if you want to go back to Season 1 of FEM to review those topics, it should be like sections 1 to 4. Yeah, sections 1 to 4 for Season 1. That will be on the iPad I did over the summer. And then if you want to review sections 5 to 7, congrats, you're already here. This is Section 7. And sections 5 and 6 are on the, good lord, okay, are on Season 2. So yeah, as always, I'm Lennon Pitts, FEM CEO, Upchief, Schoolhouse World Tutor, SAT Bootcamp Tutor, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye, and begin studying for that Unit 1 test.